this project, which is 80% of the ore. The other 20% goes in, it's ground in a grinding mill. We leach it with sulfuric acid and other reagents, and that leach residue is then neutralized and then put into a tailings facility where it's impounded on a permanent basis. And the pH or the alkalinity, acidity, and so forth is all neutral. There are no hazardous heavy metals that are accumulating in this project. And one of the reasons for that is Mother Nature leached this over millions of years. Everything that's water soluble is gone. So then when we acid leach it, we take out everything that is acid soluble, and when we then neutralize it, there's nothing left. So it's an environmentally friendly process that is specific to this ore. And that, combined with concurrent reclamation in the mine, should give us a very strong environmental credit. And we're taking advantage of that. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
You bet.
What is the timeline to production on the New Caledonia project, and is there going to be a joint venture involved with that?
Well, I would let Bill answer that question, but he's a little more enthusiastic about the time schedule than I would endorse it. But it actually could be a lot faster to production than the cobalt project, for instance, in that you don't have these chemical plants that would be necessary in this war. But we do need to finalize the land position there. We have to get drilling rig units, very small drilling rig, and a sampling program so that we can begin to understand what the total resource is, and then we can do the studies. I would guess that it wouldn't be out of the question that, what would you say, 2013 or so, before we might think about having a commercial product.
For example, the build a plant is like 6 months that you got to design. To actually put the plant on the ground and get it in production, it's a very short period of time because they're all modular, and these things are not a large plant, they're fairly small. And the actual crews that build these plants are right in Brisbane, Australia, which is 800 miles west of this island.
Well, I guess you didn't need to hear anything like that. You were employed with what you got. Yes.
It seems like the feasibility studies in Cameroon have taken quite a long time, I'm assuming, to substantiate what minerals and concentrations. What are you seeing as the feasibility studies for New Caledonia? Is it going to take as long to do that, to substantiate, or do we need to substantiate what the ore is there as well as what you're going to get?
Well, I'll take the first shot at that, and then if we need more explanation, I'll let Dave take care of that. The difference between New Caledonia and the project in Cameroon, the primary difference is that there's a much more sophisticated processing technique that's required in Cameroon. And we've basically been, I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind kind of processing technique in that the ore is very concentrated with cobalt, which is you don't find anywhere else around the world. And so we needed to specially design a process with that attribute in mind. And we thought we had got it fairly well figured out before the financial crisis in 2008. And then once that happened, it put everything on the shelf as far as what we could do anyway. So since that time, we've taken the time to actually make some significant improvements in that process. And I think we've done just about everything that we have any knowledge of doing on that project now. And so the chances of us doing further testing and further down the road is...
We have no more rabbits and we have no more hats.
So I think that you can look forward to a lot more timely processing as far as the mineral sands, because it's essentially off-the-shelf technology.
But I'm talking about the New Caledonia project. You have to do as much feasibility studies there as you had to do in Cameroon.
because the whole timeline is reduced as a result of the simplicity of the project and the fact that there are already commercial processes available to do for us to build. And so we don't have to figure out how the best way is to do it. It's already known.
Plus, we've already done a lot of metallurgy already on the New Caledonia samples, and it follows a very similar flow sheet to the, it follows a very similar. Anyhow, I'll speak more. A similar project in Oregon that I discovered 20 years ago has been developed, and we're using a very similar flow sheet to Oregon. So not only do we have extensive metallurgy we've already done in New Caledonia, but we have this Oregon model to follow as well. So it is much more conventional, much more off the shelf, much more.
No, it would not be of the rare earths that you would be reading a lot about. Actually, we do have I would hesitate to use the word project, but we do have a prospect that has some possible enrichment of rare earths that we haven't even begun to put the property position together yet, but that we hope to be able to put something together within the say the next 6 or 8 months. So we are very cognizant of some of these other metals that seem to be having much higher potential usage, and so we're kind of targeting some of those as far as some of those.
A year ago, it seems like the slide showed it was 7 million in cash.
Well, we have had 7 million in cash. I'm sure it was a little bit more than a year ago.
Probably got 60 last year, 75.
Okay, 60, now down to 44.
That's right, yeah.
That's 16 million, and we have 3 years before we open the mine. Is there enough money to hit?
The short answer to that is yes. The longer answer is that obviously we are working with a financial advisor to help us provide us the funds that we will need in order to complete that project in Cameroon, plus the other projects that we will talk about as well. If world conditions turn out such that we weren't able to go ahead with those projects, that we wouldn't be spending a lot of the money that over the next 2 years that we would if those projects were to go ahead. So we would then slow down considerably our spend rate as far as available funds.
Our cash burn will drop dramatically if you don't get financing.
This thing is not.
Jack, what's your plans to raise funds going forward as far as, do you have another plan for another offering or what's your plans to raise capital going forward? Venture capital money or anything like that out there?
No, we wouldn't expect so much in the way of venture capital, but we will probably have to do another capital raise sometime within the next year or so. Right now, we're not very enthusiastic about that possibility at current share price, but eventually we will have to kind of bite that bullet. One of the things that we're talking to a lot of these Asian companies about right now is an investment directly in Geovic Cameroon for an equity position there. They would then buy that position by paying the current shareholders some value, which is obviously what we're trying to determine right now. That would provide a lot of the capital that both our minority shareholders plus Geovic will need in order to do the project financing. So at least that's the plan.